Good day, this is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you for a Reason to Resist from the capital of Canada, Ottawa, on November 26, 2025. I arrived in Ottawa a couple hours ago from Montreal, Canada, because tomorrow I am going to be in court with 6 other colleagues from the legal profession to argue an important full-day motion in a case brought on behalf of 2 Palestinian-Canadians, alleging that the Canadian government has violated its obligation under Article 1 of the Genocide Convention to prevent and punish genocide. Before I tell you a little bit about this case, I want to tell you about our 2 clients, which really highlights the degree to which Canada has failed the Palestinian community and the cause of human rights generally. One of our clients' names is Hani Elbatigi. Hani is a retired engineer who was born in Gaza in the 1950s. He left Gaza in 1967, and he returned to Gaza in September 2023, just a few weeks before Israel began its genocidal onslaught on the Gaza Strip. He hadn't been there since 1967. He had many extended family members there. And when the bombardment began, he was sheltering with family. He tried desperately to find at many points in the weeks that he spent there after the October 7th attacks in Israel to find safety and shelter. At one point, he was almost killed by a bomb that fell near him, causing his ears to bleed. He repeatedly pleaded during those weeks of terror in Gaza for the Canadian government to extract him through the Rafah border crossing. And although he was told that he was on a list of people who would be allowed to leave, he had to make several attempts before he finally managed to cross from the Gaza Strip into Egypt. His family members have been obliterated, many of them by Israel's genocidal onslaught. He lost a niece and also her children, aged 12 and 4. His sister was shot by a sniper. Numerous other members of extended family have been killed and wounded since then. And under this pathetically limited and extraordinarily strict visa program that Canada set up to bring people from Gaza to Canada in the aftermath of Israel's commencement of a genocide, Hani is unable to sponsor any of his surviving family members to come to Canada because of his financial constraints arising from the fact that he's a retiree and a pensioner. Our other client in this proceeding, his name is Tammer Gerada. What Tammer has suffered, like Hani, is truly horrible. He had immediate family members in Gaza at the time that Israel began its genocidal assault, and shortly after the beginning of that rampage, Israel bombed a residential tower in which his mother and father and sisters were living. They were all killed, 2 sisters and his mother and father. It took some time for their fate to be determined and for their bodies to be dug out from the rubble. He's also lost many uncles, aunts, cousins to either been killed or wounded in the aftermath. And so horrible has been our client's suffering, Tammer's suffering, that he, and this is pleaded in our statement of claim filed with the court, he eventually suffered a nervous breakdown and is currently living in Alberta, where he's dealing with the extraordinary pain of these losses every single day of his life. So the claim that we brought against the Government of Canada, as I mentioned, is brought under Article 1 of the Genocide Convention, which contains explicitly a duty on all states, parties to the convention, Canada is one, to prevent and punish genocide. And that duty is triggered when there is a serious risk of genocide occurring. It isn't necessary that there be definitive proof or a judicial conclusion that the genocide is actually occurring. If there's a serious risk, that is sufficient to trigger the duty to prevent genocide. And we're taking the position, and one I think that can hardly be disputed rationally, that there is at a bare minimum a serious risk that genocide is occurring in the Gaza Strip. In fact, the UN Human Rights Commission of Inquiry for the occupied Palestinian territories, the Special Rapporteur for the UN Special Rapporteur, Francesca Albanese, the human rights organizations, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, the Israeli human rights organizations, B'Tselem, and Physicians for Human Rights Israel, and on and on and on, have all opined not only that there's a serious risk that genocide is occurring, but that in fact Israel is currently committing genocide. And so the government of Canada was served with our client's statement of claim in November of last year. After some 2 or 3 months, we finally learned of their position in relation to this lawsuit, and their initial position was that they were going to bring a motion to have it dismissed. And the basis of their motion is that, according to them, the claims are non-justiciable, which is just a fancy way of saying that their position is that the courts have no business adjudicating this claim because of its political nature and because it involves sensitive matters of foreign policy, something to which they say the Canadian government should be left to its own devices to determine. We obviously contest that position, and therefore will be in court tomorrow for the full day arguing this matter. And if the court dismisses the Attorney General's motion, this case will proceed to discovery, and they'll have to produce, the Canadian government, all relevant evidence pertaining to the claims, relevant to the claims that is not privileged, and so too will we. And then we will progress from there to a trial. If, however, the court grants this motion and dismisses the claim in its entirety without leave to amend our statement of claim, then I can assure you we will be appealing to the Ontario Court of Appeal. I want to just say a word about the wonderful advocates who are working with me on this file. They include my co-counsel, Shane Martinez, a criminal defense lawyer in Toronto, who will be arguing the motion with me tomorrow. Shane has been as have all my co-counsel in this case, fearless and passionate defenders of the Palestinian cause and the broader cause of human rights. We also have on our team Professor Faisal Baba of York University, Osgood Hall Law School at York University. Juman El Asmar, who is an immigration attorney based in Alberta, in the western part of Canada. Asaf Rashid, who is a criminal defense attorney in the Maritime provinces in Nova Scotia. And Yaver Hamid, who has done a lot of excellent civil rights work here in Ottawa. He's based in the capital of Canada. We're also working with, although he's not counsel of record, an extraordinary individual by the name of Emilio Dabed. He's a professor of law. He's a Chilean citizen who is of Palestinian origin. And together we are working towards what we hope will be a vindication of the right of Palestinians to be protected from the odious scourge, as the International Court of Justice has called it, of genocide. I'll be reporting to you afterwards, after this hearing is completed, to let you know how I think it went. It'll probably be some months before we finally have a decision. We're in this for the long haul. All the 7 lawyers who are working on this matter are working on a pro bono basis. It's the least that we can do as privileged members of the legal profession. And I hope, if nothing else, that this will inspire other lawyers in Canada to take up the cause of human rights, and particularly the cause of the victims of this genocide, and to do so without compensation. I mean, we really, as lawyers in this country, are relatively fortunate to do what we do and to be paid the compensation that lawyers are paid. So the bare minimum that we can do is to sacrifice a considerable amount of our time and energy to helping those who can't afford legal counsel. In any case, that's my brief report for today, and we'll see how things go tomorrow. I'm feeling positive and hopeful, but one never knows in Canada's so-called justice system. This is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from Ottawa, Canada on November 26, 2025.